So let
Thank
us
you.
start.
Now I
The,
can hear you.
the reason we've been
Great.
faffing is because we wanted you to start us off. You have been in Nashville for all of these Kilmar Abrego Garcia hearings. Tell us what you have seen.
So yesterday, this hasn't been widely reported, but yesterday happened to be the anniversary of Kilmar Abrego Garcia and his wife, Jennifer Vasquez Sura. And she spent that anniversary in court, what was supposed to be a hearing or ordering the release of Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Now, as folks who've been following this story closely know, it's not turning out to be that clean because the government has said, has put forward this heads I win, tails you lose proposition that if you release him, Your Honor, and from pretrial detention, we're just going to have ICE put him into custody because he has a detainer. And then we'll try to we'll try to deport him. And so that's the lay of the land right now. During yesterday's hearing, because of this state of affairs, they had to come up with some sort of briefing schedule to consider two still unresolved questions. One, does the government have the power, does the Justice Department have the power to urge the Department of Homeland Security not to deport him until his trial is over?
Urge? I thought they were in charge of the Department of Homeland Security. What? They have to plead with their own guys, the same people who they push around and boss around all over the country?
Well, so this was the thing. Some of you might know Kilmar Abrego Garcia has a new all-star legal team, including E. Jean Carroll's former lawyer, Sean Hecker. So Sean Hecker, in his first time in court, comes out and says the government is claiming this impotence into that they can't control. It's DHS, it's another arm of the government. They can't control whether Kilmar Abrego Garcia is deported or even held in a detention facility close to the court to preserve his due process rights. But now here's the key thing. There are two key cooperating witnesses against Kilmar Abrego Garcia. One is a five-time deportee and a two-time felon. The other is his close relative, another ex-con who is in jail and who is getting, both of them crucially are getting immigration help and also assistance with their exposure in terms of sentencing. This was one of the reasons a judge ordered Kilmar Abrego Garcia's release before trial. So, and this is the key part, Sean Hecker asked quite reasonably, how is it the government can enter into these agreements to help this five-time deportee not become deportee number 6 before trial, but all of a sudden, when it comes to Kilmar Abrego Garcia, they're powerless, they are totally impotent.
This is proof positive what we all said at the beginning, because remember, the head of the criminal division there quit when this was filed. This is what they call, it's the technical word for it, a bullshit claim. This is nonsense. They found these two criminals to make a deal with the government to come up with an excuse so the government wouldn't lose face. At some point, isn't this whole thing going to get tossed? And Abrego Garcia should, if we have a legal system that actually works, be able to stay here?
Right. Well, so two key points based on what you said, Jen. You mentioned the spontaneous resignation of Ben Schrader, the former chief of the criminal division here in Nashville, on the day of Kilmar Abrego Garcia's sealed indictment. Now, one of the members of his all-star legal team who appeared in court for the first time yesterday, Rasto Dean, who is his deputy. So the guy who quit, his former deputy of 6 years is now representing the defendant. And it does make you wonder, just as you said, Jen, what are they afraid of? There is a trial. They can present the evidence. They've made serious allegations that have largely crumbled in court. You know, I've been here. This is my second time going to federal court in Nashville for Kilmar Abrego Garcia's hearing. And the first time you saw an FBI agent who was behind this investigation get cross-examined and brutally. Not only do you have these two dodgy cooperating witnesses who have been in jail multiple times for the crimes that they're accusing Kilmar Abrego Garcia of, the story that they tell is ludicrous. And let me just tell you this one exchange very briefly. The claim that they make is that Kilmar Abrego Garcia, sometimes 3 to 4 times a week, would smuggle undocumented immigrants with his wife and his 3 special needs children from Maryland to Texas and back. Now, break that down in your mind. This is the claim by the cooperating witnesses.
Okay,
So
this is just insanity. Norm, I bet as insane, as disreputable, as law-breaking is as that is, I bet you have something that can top even Adam's account. This is like a game now. It's a very serious game because our democracy is in the brink. But there's something even more outrageous than this going on in Maryland. Tell us what it is.
The eyes of lawyers all over America were popping yesterday when we got a complaint that the Department of Justice, I think Pam Bondi just sits there and makes this stuff up and nobody tells her don't do it. The Department of Justice has sued, not a normal defendant, not a corporation, not individuals, not an organization. They sued the entire federal judiciary of the Maryland Federal District Court, every judge, for having, it relates to Kilmar, for having a standing order that imposes a 2-day pause when they're engaging in these kinds of shenanigans that also apply to Abrego Garcia. And to me, Jen, it relates to almost this Keystone Cops quality of what Adam is describing happening in the courtroom. Remember, the fact that the courts have now ordered again and again, 4 times by my count, the return of wrongly deported individuals. They said with Kilmar, he will never come back, over and over again, but they were forced to bring him back. So Jen and I were part of a conversation yesterday on, has the Roberts Court been unfairly benefiting Donald Trump or not? What do we make of these decisions? It's a Roberts Court decision that ultimately required the return of Kilmar. The fact that they're in that courtroom at all, subject to American due process, subject to cross-examination of these witnesses, is a success for our rule of law system. And what is their response? To sue the entire federal district court bench. How do you think that's going to go?
You know, this is bizarre. This has never happened in my lifetime. I have never heard of such a thing. And it sounds funny. It sounds desperate. It sounds bizarre. But what it is an attack on the third branch of government. It is the executive saying, we're going to knock you out. We're going to intimidate you. We're going to punish you. We're going to put you out of commission so we can do whatever the heck we want. This is, and our good friend Michael Ludding, who was quoted in the New York Times saying, this is the fundamental lawlessness, the attack on the rule of law in bold print. And if they let them get away with this and they don't take some action in response, they will once again have knuckled under to Donald Trump. And I gotta say, some of our readers who have obviously gone to law school are saying, can't these people be sanctioned? Can't there be a contempt ruling? The answer is they should be. When they bring such bullshit claims that have no legal basis, have no factual basis, they should be held accountable. And frankly, the Justice Department lawyers who bring them should face disciplinary action. You're not allowed to abuse the legal system in this fashion. Norm?
Good news, you contrarians. Many of you are saying we need sanctions, we need ethics complaints because we're owned by nobody. Our paying subscribers support the legal work. We have filed a bar complaint against Pam Bondi, and we are pursuing ethics remedies against Pam Bondi. Jen, we're going to have to amend it after this lawsuit in Maryland.
Now, some of our viewers, our listeners, are jumping the gun. They're saying, when are you going to talk about Emil Bove? We are getting there, folks. There's a sequence that we go through. And one of the questions
it only looks random.
Yes, it seems random and discoordinated, but we got a plan for it. One of the things I would like them to ask Emil Bove, who is just a reputable figure that was involved in the corrupt bargain with Eric Adams, forcing the resignation of multiple lawyers in the Southern District, someone who is an election denier. He has now been